Hey everyone, it's Jelly Cards, and you're listening to the Jelly Cards podcast. We've been collecting since we were kids. Whether it's Pokemon cards or sports cards, being a collector at heart always comes first. You can listen to all our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And if you are enjoying these topics, please give us a rating and a follow on both Spotify and Apple, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So, if you are ready, we are ready. Sit back, relax, and as always, keep spreading the love of the hobby from your friends at Jelly Cards.
Too bad Luke couldn't make it, though.
Yeah, missed that guy. You guys had a good episode last week.
I didn't really care for it.
One of those, I think one of the videos just got like 50 comments.
It's not even the fact that I didn't, like, it was a great episode. I had so much I wanted to say, and then I get in front of the mic and I like lose my train of thought. There's so much that I wanted to say to Luke and wanted to talk about in that episode, and I forget it, like it just went out the window. And I was like, I can't remember.
Hey, that happens, you know?
Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah, but let's start off. John, you said you had a question to ask. You had a grading question. We're not going to be talking about grading for this episode. We are going to be recapping the National. We're going to talk about this year's show, talk about the potential future shows. They announced the 2028 location, which is going to be in Detroit, and basically give our opinions as to what the National can do better at, which I think we'll pretty much kind of all agree on things that they should probably get rid of, even though we have friends that, kind of, I guess, work in that field. But John, what's your question, man?
Yeah, I guess we do. Yeah.
Yeah. So, this actually comes from Mark. So I hope Mark still listens to the podcast. But
Ergen?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Shout out Mark Ergen.
Yeah. So recently, after he told me that he had all his Pokemon cards that he wanted to submit, we started talking about quote unquote cleaning cards, and he was asking me like what I do or what we do to kind of prepare cards for submitting. And I told him that I've never really used anything besides, like, admittedly and maybe grossly my breath. I just kind of do like a hot breath onto the card and then wipe it off with
the card just
yeah,
withers away.
Exactly. I wipe it off with what are they called? Like the glasses lens cleaners, those cloths. But anyway, so he brought that up, and I wanted to bring it up on the podcast because it's kind of a subject that we've never talked about. So just to kind of give a backstory, what I would consider the leading person / kit in preparing cards is Kurt's Card Care. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Kurt's Card Care, but that guy, if you
I'm sure he was he giving out free samples at one of the shows we went to?
No. I know we got that too once. I remember somebody gave us like a spray bottle.
Yeah, and the cloth and the whole thing.
Yeah. But if you're ever bored, anybody, or you have like time to go through videos, look up Kurt's Card Care on both Instagram and YouTube. He has done incredible things to cards, and he sells a kit that is all natural products that he uses to buffer out scratches. He uses it to fix like bent corners. He uses it to fix creases. He has like a humidifier that he puts cards in overnight. He does a lot of stuff to cards that like changes them completely. So
is that
right? So I wanted to bring it up on the podcast because it's a debate in the hobby that if you use something like that and you do something to a card and you submit it for grading, do you guys think that that card should be graded? Or do you think that, like it's become more common recently, the grading companies should label them as altered and not give it a grade?
I would almost, in my opinion, I would kind of think that that card's altered. Like if you're putting it in like a humidifier and stuff, and you're like you're spraying the car. I mean, I can understand like, oh, it's got a little smudge on it. Let me take a lens cloth and let me wipe it off. But I mean, if you're going through that extensive of a process to, do all this extra stuff in order to make your card look better, to me, I guess you're possibly altering the look of the card. Like, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, it's a
Eric,
good question.
yeah, what are
Yeah,
you thinking? Yeah, he's thinking real hard up there.
I think he
Yeah,
froze.
I'm trying to because I was trying to make a statement where it wasn't immediately contradictory, but I can't think of one right now because in my mind, like, all right, so I was gonna say I would prefer you don't make physical changes to the cards, referring to like trimming or sort of like something that's more like direct, altering the cards. Because I feel like if he's doing this to vintage, I
He
get
does?
it because they have to do the same thing to like, like the Declaration of Independence isn't under like, it's not
Exactly.
just like,
Yeah,
it's not just like sitting out. Like the paper that was printed on was just, paper in terms of the cards. Like that was just like,
yeah.
they put that in with packs of gum. They didn't, they're just like, oh, whatever.
There's a pack
This
of
is
gum
just,
with the Declaration.
Could
no,
you
it's just
imagine?
like, we're back to the cards. I know it was a sharp transition, but like, so now I'm like, is he altering the cards or is he just restoring the cards?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Which is
that's a good
like,
Yeah.
way. That's the almost the best word you need to use. Like you
Yes.
need to use, I
yeah,
just restored this
is he
card
trying to
back.
restore the card or is he altering the card? So
He's restoring.
I'm like going back and forth to where I don't want him, because if he's probably doing this from the angle of I love cards. So like I would like I have this 50s whatever, this whatever card, and it's, I know how to resaturate the colors or like bring life back into because I can tell that the edges are drying out. Like I
Yeah.
can bring more life back into the edges, and it's not like me like snipping the cards or me
Exactly.
Yeah, to
like
better the centering
rubbing
and
like it's so like I would prefer somebody like him versus somebody who's like clearly altering the cards like physically. But I also can't say the word physical because, like, I don't know, I guess if you want to go like if remoisturization is chemical, then fine,
Yeah.
that's like your split, right? But like, I don't know. I
I
love that. I love it. I love that
Me too.
I love that he's treating vintage cards like literal vintage pieces of art,
yeah.
because that's exactly what they would do, is like make sure that it's
You're
not going to be
restoring
dried
artifacts,
out.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
It's the same
So
thing you do if
we're
you
going to
find a yeah.
I mean, we're getting to the point where these cards are almost 100 years old, man. Like
Yeah.
it's like
Some are
those are
already.
really freaking old, man. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
those cigarette cards, those are really old pieces of paper
Christy
that they
Mathewson,
printed at
That's
some
right.
Q10,
Jeez.
dude.
man.
Yeah, that they printed. Everybody in that factory is just ripping schmags, just
Yeah.
ashing it over the thing. Like, they don't
Stack of
care.
cards.
Right. They don't care. Everybody's just covered in soot, like, for some reason. So, like, yeah, at some point you're going to either, if the person didn't take it out of the cigarette pack and be like, damn, you know what? In 100 years, this card's going to be worth a ton of money. Let me keep it safe. Nobody did that. Like, at some point, somebody's going to have to be like a restoration service that doesn't affect grading, I think. But I also could see the counter argument to where it's like, hey, I'd rather just have it as it lies, as the golfers do. Just
Exactly.
play it as it lies.
Well, let me ask you guys this because
That was
We're gonna end up
long-winded.
not
Sorry.
even getting into the
I know.
topic that we want to talk about. And we
Yeah,
do
man,
this
I've been
all the
thinking
time.
about it a
But let
lot.
me ask you guys this, because I remember I brought it up in the group chat that, like, is a day gonna come where this new wave of generation of kids that are coming into this hobby are are they not gonna care about these vintage cards anymore? Be like, we have to think that a lot, that the true vintage collectors right now, who grew up with those cards, eventually at some point, they're not going to be here anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we're all just eventually not going to be here one day. And are people still going to care? Like, are kids, when they get to our age, going to care about a Jackie Robinson rookie card? Like, is that what they're going to be chasing? Or is LeBron James going to be the new top, like, grail card to get, like the Mickey Mantle is?
Great question. I like to.
And I'm afraid that
That's a good question,
one
yeah.
day that it's, why would they care about trying to buy up a Duke Snyder card?
My
What I mean?
God, speaking of that, I was at Mount Sinai resale shop on Clark in the city, and there was a baseball signed by Duke Snyder. But I was like, I'm so like, whoa, what's real, what's not real anymore in this
Oh,
hobby.
I would have cared. I wouldn't have cared.
I might honestly just, I'm gonna, if it's,
Damn.
I'm gonna go
The
back.
fact that you even found one
I know,
blows my
right?
mind. But
I was
That's
like
awesome.
looking, I was like, there's
damn.
no way. Is that say Duke Snyder? And I was like, oh shit, this.
Well, if it was
That's Duke
authenticated
Snyder.
by JSA, I would have been like, hey, it's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was just a baseball sitting in a case.
Damn.
Yeah, I was like,
Wow.
I should have just bought it. I don't know what I was
That's
thinking.
cool.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
what do you
sorry,
guys think
yeah.
though? Yeah, what do you guys think? And then we'll get into show and tell, and then we'll get into
Yeah.
the national talk. But what do you guys think? Do you think eventually one day, like, kids are not like kids when they become adults, they're just not going to care about these vintage cards anymore? Like 50s and 60s, like, or do they like, because these are players that they're not going to know who these players are. Like,
This is gonna turn into something else, possibly. So I'm gonna let John go first.
I think they will care. I think that especially even as the older people get out of the hobby, I'll say, and move on, the value of those cards, I don't see them ever going down. And the way the hobby's going currently, that money chasing aspect is going to draw them to those cards. Like the real concern that I do have is like the lower grade stuff. Like let's say you have a PSA 1 or PSA 2 of a 1960s mantle. Will that still be interesting to people because of how money driven and rare driven things have become? I still think yes, but maybe not as exciting as a high grade mantle or a high grade Clemente or a high grade Koufax. Like I think the higher grade stuff is just going to keep going up in value. And yeah, I it's a good question though, Jason. I could definitely see myself being wrong. I could definitely see.
because yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is, all these kids are walking around with LeBron James,
Yeah,
jerseys, and or Shy, or any one of these big time basketball players. And I just think one day, if there was a LeBron James 101 and a 52 tops mantle sitting right in front of them, which one are they going to pick?
that's a good question. But I told you guys in the group chat. I feel like this may be a I don't know hot take, cold take. I feel like no collection is complete unless you have the 52 tops mantle. That's just my opinion. It's kind of similar to the 86 Jordan. I feel like those are my. I mean, Wagner is just kind of unattainable, but
2003 Rex Grossman.
yeah, yeah. I feel like if people are into serious collecting, they're gonna want that 52 tops medal, and I don't think that card's gonna ever die. But I want to hear what Eric was gonna say
Yeah.
because it sounded like
I was gonna go I won't even try and take us on a tangent then, because I'm actually kind of surprised with John's answer.
why? What? No,
I thought you were gonna
Now,
say
yeah,
LeBron.
why are you
honestly. I was gonna take it like 100% the mantle, because baseball has changed in a way that I think is attracting a younger generation to where they're gonna be aware of the legends. Like they're gonna be watching baseball, whatever, I don't want to get into the whole baseball, why they're watching baseball more, but right. Okay, great. But if they're watching baseball more, somewhere along the line, they're going to be watching a game and it's going to be brought up like, oh, this hasn't been done since blah, 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 da, da, blah, blah, da, blah, blah, blah. And
That's
then
true.
they're going to learn about Mantle and they're going to learn about all these legends and they're going to be like, oh, yeah, great. This is like when baseball cards were baseball cards.
I
So
guess, yeah, that's what we
I
do
think
right
there's going
now.
to be enough. I guess also, saying that is like, I think there's going to be enough hardcore like card fanatics that go to the next, like go to us and go to the adulthood who are like, yep, know who Mickey Mantle is. I know I want the 52 Mantle. I know I want the ba 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 ba. I know I want this. I know I want the T206 Onus Wagner. Like there's gonna be enough of them who have just gotten hooked on cards recently, like us, or
And I
more
Jason,
think,
so
yeah,
like us. So it's like, okay, yeah, this will be fine long term.
yeah, and I think that's a great, that's a great segue into what we really wanted to talk about, which is the national, because that was one thing that I was reading a lot of articles on. We'll hit show and tell first, but the one thing I was reading when I was about the national is a lot of people were saying a ton of families and a ton of kids,
Love that.
kids wheeling and dealing, kids with
Oh
their,
my
their
god,
graded
dude.
cases, just, you know, I mean, it's great. It is great for the hobby. It's great
I
that
saw.
all these kids are
Oh,
getting into it and stuff. I mean, they're the new, like we said, they're the new wave of generation that's coming in. Like, we need them in order to keep this hobby alive, because we're only getting older. My knees hurt. I walk it up and down stairs, my knees hurt. Okay.
these kids nowadays are nothing like how I was at their age.
No, I wasn't
Just
doing it.
walking up to adults, just ready to like
Just
deal
ready
in
to, what you
thousands of
got? Yeah.
dollars. I'm
Come
just
on.
like,
Let's,
whoa, hang on, whoa, where's the? I
I mean,
gotta
they
talk to
got
your
their
mom or
phone out
dad,
and
please.
they're like looking up comps. They're
Yeah.
going, okay, well, this is what I'm like,
Hey,
what is
damn.
man,
going on here?
whoa, why don't you just take a piece of candy from the bowl, and we'll just take a step back, and we'll just hang on now.
Hash it out.
Let's just like, whoa,
Oh, that's
you're coming
funny.
in hot. So
They
That's
yeah.
are
funny.
coming in hot.
I've seen videos of the same thing. These kids
Yeah,
just
man.
coming up to dealers and they like are ruthless. And I'm like, whoa. At your age, I was afraid to read my friend's doorbell. Like I was like, whoa.
Yep. Didn't look adults in the eyes.
That's my
That's
own
no
issue
doubt.
though. So yeah.
But let's see some cards. Yeah, before we get into national stuff.
Jason, go first.
Why? Do you guys know what card's coming?
No, what do you
No,
got,
just
Jason?
you never go first.
I always go first. But you guys should know what card's coming.
Yeah, I know it's coming.
Oh yeah, actually, well, I know.
Definitely should
Are
know.
you're gonna do the same thing you already posted? I thought. Oh, come on, man.
What, man?
I mean,
I'm
it's a
showing
good.
it
It's a
for
good
the
card.
podcast.
It's a good card.
It's a 2003 Rex Grossman rookie card from Playoff Hog Heaven. Rex Grossman's hog, authenticated hog. But this is a rookie patch card with an authentic event worn jersey patch. It is numbered out of 750. It's a BGS 9.5. The one thing I do love most about this card is there's a picture on the back that shows the exact jersey in which the patch came
What's it numbered out of too?
from. 750. So it's numbered 563 out of 750. And it says this enclosed piece of jersey was cut from an authentic jersey personally worn by Rex Grossman. Gives the date on 5/17/03 at the 2003 NFL Players Rookie Premiere. The authentic game or authentic event worn jersey was obtained and is guaranteed by the Playoff Corporation. So I like that they gave the date, the picture, the event that they were at. I bought it for $15. Shipping was like $7.60.
Can't beat
But I was
that,
like, I don't
really.
care.
Can't
I'm
beat
getting
that,
this
man.
card.
Cost that much money to grade the card.
Yep. So yeah,
Yeah,
as
right.
you guys
Honestly,
know,
it
Rex
takes- yeah,
Rex
exactly.
Grossman, man, my favorite Chicago Bears player of all time. One of two quarterbacks that made it to a Super Bowl for the Bears. So just saying,
Of
He
all
is one
time?
of two of all time.
All time?
Of all time.
That's your favorite beer of all time?
Yeah, because going back to let's
Oh,
talk about
man.
the best season that we've witnessed
All right,
as
respect.
Chicago Bears fans.
Yeah, respect. Okay.
Being able to the second time we weren't even alive in '85, so the second time in franchise history that they make a Super Bowl, Rex at the helm, Devin Hester takes the opening kickoff for a touchdown. I mean,
Well,
we lost, but still,
you said at the helm, which is,
Rex
should've-
Grossman at the helm, man.
yeah, it should have been Kyle Orton, but it's fine. So
Kyle Orton, come on, man. Sexy
Thank you.
Rexy, baby.
Yeah, sexy Rexy all the way.
Yeah, lost. Kyle Orton.
Right.
I was team Kyle Orton. So
This is Rex
just
is
hand
one
the
of
ball
my.
off to freaking Thomas Jones, baby. Defense has got the rest.
True
That's
that.
I
all
sent you
need
that
to do
card. You
from-
should have got that patch card, man. It had
I
Urlacher. It had what? Thomas Jones on it, I think. Grossman was on it.
yeah, I'm
And
not interested in that last party.
What? Brian Urlacher?
No, the last one.
Hey, man.
Sorry,
How many-
Jason.
Hey, sorry. Justin Fields didn't do it. Nick
Correct.
Foles didn't do it. Jay Cutler didn't do it.
Okay,
It's
well,
got
you
close.
can't go through all the quarterbacks that didn't do it because we'll be here forever. John, go ahead.
Okay. My show and tell card is a card that I actually found when I was looking through cards when I was going to go to the National. So, you guys maybe might appreciate this. I didn't even know that I had this card, but I had submitted it like a
That I
while
know.
back with
I know.
a bunch of cards I had sent for grading, and the reason I submitted it was because it was a Cubs prospect, and I thought that it was in really good condition. I had no idea that it was this guy who's actually might make it to the show. So this is a 2023 Bowman draft. Jackson Wiggins, purple auto in a 10.
Oh, dang. Oh, yeah, that's actually you probably,
Yeah.
that's okay. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I didn't know that I
as
had
a-
this card
as
until
a
I was
Cubs
looking through.
fan, it's like, I guess it's whatever.
Yeah,
Nationally,
yeah.
it's nothing, but
I kind of want to revisit the cleaning card situation / grading situation. So this card got a 10, but I'm gonna try to show, do you see how the W kind of goes all the way up?
Oh, yeah.
into
wow.
his pants.
Yeah,
Into the crowd.
yeah, and I want to know if
Oh
that
my God,
affects.
it goes into the crowd. Oh, Jesus, I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
If you would have gotten the auto graded, would they have dinged the auto for
Right.
that? Probably.
Yes.
I would assume
100%. Yeah, that would have been like a 9, probably.
So doesn't that's why that's another question that I have for grading. Shouldn't that make the overall card like a 9, or in Jason's grading company a 9.5?
Well, no, because they're not grading the auto. They're just grading the card.
Okay, but that's my
I agree with Jason.
Okay, my argument
my
against
God.
that is
Oh.
the auto is a part of
You
the
agreed
card.
with me?
Yeah. The auto is
they're
part
not-
of the
you're-
card.
Yeah. Yeah, but they do it separately though. You have to pay for them especially for PSA, you have to pay for them to grade the auto. Now, if you would have sent that, say, to SGC, they automatically grade the autos. And then if they would have dinged it, they just wouldn't have put the auto grade on it.
I think if there was a print line through the crowd line where the W was, that card gets a 9.
But let's say this auto is smeared, or I don't know, it's just a little squiggly from at one end to the other end, but he doesn't touch the edge. Doesn't that make the card I don't know, not as beautiful / 10 worthy?
No, I think they have to grade the cards on
Just
their
grading the
actually manufactured. Like,
Not the-
Okay.
I
they're not
get what
grading
you're
the auto
saying.
unless
I get
you-
what you're saying.
yeah.
Like the autograph should probably affect the surface, right? On the at minimum, like you're affecting the surface. But I think they mean surface as it comes off the press.
Okay.
So it's
There's
the
no
obvious print
scratches.
line,
Yeah.
the scratches, scuffs. I get what you're saying. I'm sure if you graded that auto, it would have been a 10-9 at best, maybe
Yeah.
even a 10-8. I don't even know what
That kid probably would have gave it a 9.
I have no idea how they grade autos in terms of that,
Exactly.
You know,
They
that
would have
like
dinged.
that
They would have
flourish.
100% dinged that.
But like, what if that's the guy's signature
Yeah,
on
that's what I'm
every
saying.
single card? Is like, you're gonna say like, no, stay in this white box, and he's like, no, man, this is my flair.
Yeah.
You know?
That's how I feel too. All right. Cool. Eric, what do you got?
Oh yeah, I guess I didn't go. All right, this is.
Hey,
Nice.
damn.
I
That's
told you
what's
this was
up.
for Jason. Yeah, little Japanese Koga's
Is that your
Beedrill.
Koga's
favorite card,
Beedrill.
Jason?
Yeah. That is definitely my
Favorite
favorite
Pokemon
card.
card?
And I
Shout
thought
out.
for sure I would have gemmed mine, but they gave me an 8. PSA bastards. That's what I get for grading with them.
This is actually, I'm looking at the back. This is actually kind of off center for Japanese standards, which is crazy because
It
they're
looks
usually
off-centered
pretty.
on the front too.
Yeah, it's off centered the same way on the back.
But it's still, it's such
yeah, I
a
got
good,
this from Lalange. Shout out Lalange. So
it's such a good
yeah,
card.
this is a great art.
Beedrill's just the
I
best.
gotta put this in a new top loader. This is scratched up, but yeah, it's a great card.
Like, okay, I'm sorry to revisit my thing again, but that's so my argument for people, quote unquote, restoring cards and I guess just making sure that their cards are in the best condition possible before they send them in for grading is because stuff like that happens. Like, why am I going to get punished if Panini or Topps or Upper Deck has horrible quality control? Like, if they send me a card that has clear print lines on it and they're just like, yeah, whatever, send it out. I feel like that's on them. They should have better quality control and be like, yo, this card has print lines going through the entire thing. We can't like
We can't send it out.
ethically put it inside a box.
But here's the thing though. If they made every single card the same way, and if every card came out perfect, doesn't that like now completely take away like what we do in the hobby, which is collecting rare cards, like collecting the best conditioned cards? Like if every single card came out a perfect 10, where's the value going when you're grading cards? Like you almost kind of need, not saying that these companies do it on purpose or they don't, like, oh, we're purposely like, making sure that all cards aren't gem worthy. But at the same time, like that's, if you're flipping sports cards, all graders would be like, just everybody would just be walking around with 10s and every
Yeah,
single card would be a 10.
I can make an argument to the
yeah,
counter of that.
agree. Go ahead.
Because I would ask you, like, okay, but what's valuable? Case hits, True Blue autos, which they only make 150 of, if we're talking baseball generally. Oranges out of 25, golds out of 50. Like, so
But that's why
if they made all
yeah.
of those gems, all of them are still selling
Well,
for crazy
yeah, but
amounts of money.
it's good to have that, like, it's good to have that, like,
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying. Like it's good to have a market that has more of a bell curve, sort
Yeah,
of like
definitely.
just for theirs. But I don't know. You can look at Japanese cards, and maybe that's why Japanese cards don't
That's what I was
sell as
gonna say.
much. Is like
that's
for Pokemon,
that's
at
another
least,
great
is
point.
like
Point, yeah,
because all of them
88%
yeah,
gem rates,
yeah,
like,
all of them gem at like 8. Yeah, exactly.
so
So
everybody
it's
just
like,
has the card now. Everybody just has a PSA
but
10
doesn't
Japanese, Koga's
isn't
Beedrill.
isn't that good if you're a collector though?
It's
like
great if you're a collector, but for a lot of people who probably turn around and want to like make money off the hobby, like you do have to have those low gem rates. You have, those low
but
gem
who are
rates
we?
will drive
Yeah,
up the
but who are we
value.
advocating for? Because it seems like
Exactly.
a
Yeah.
lot of times we go back and forth. It's just like who
Advocating.
do we want to advocate for? Who do we want to be like proponents of? It's like
Bingo. Yeah. So
it's
I'm
like
gonna.
I'd rather have like the 10s and have the cards that I like because they're cute and the artwork's good or
Well, yeah,
just
I'm not
whatever. It's like,
disagreeing, which I'm just saying, like, I think for the hobby's sake,
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, they
You
need
need
to.
that.
It's almost like they do it
Yeah.
on purpose. Like
Exactly. They're not gonna change.
they like miscue things on purpose just to keep the market essentially healthy, I guess, for lack of a better
They
term.
need people to like keep wanting, like, if you pull one card and it doesn't come in if you're pulling the Umbreon from Prismatic and it comes and it's terribly off-centered, and now, like, no, you're probably going to chase after another one to try to get a better condition card.
So they're gonna look up the Espeon prismatic because Espeon is clearly cuter. So
But while you're looking that
Yeah,
up,
while you're doing that.
let's get into the national talk
yeah,
because the 2025 national just finished this past weekend in Rosemont. So, John, you were the only one out of Jelly that was actually able to go to the national.
and
But I do
like
want to start off here talking about the national. The moment you left and texted us how it was and told us how busy it was,
yeah,
the FOMO that I had from missing the national this year went right out the door, man.
yeah.
Did it for
Honestly,
you
I
too?
was
Right out
thinking
you, and
about
then you started sending pictures. I started seeing videos of people posting how crowded it was. A lot of articles were talking about the overcrowding. I was just like, well, I would have been pissed.
yeah,
I would have
I
been
was thinking
so
about taking the
mad
blue
if I
line.
can't just look at a damn vendor table.
Yeah, right. I was thinking about
So
taking a blue line in because I was open on Saturday. I was like, oh, I could have taken, but then I was like, oh yeah, no way.
Saturday,
If
oh
it's
my,
Dude,
if it's packed on the day, if it was packed on Thursday,
yeah.
Saturday would been a oh yeah, good night,
They
man.
had the
sardines.
Good
lines going
night.
down. The
Good
lines
night.
damn near were
Yeah.
probably to the airport, man.
If I would have taken a blue line in and walked there and been like, dang, it's that busy, I already know where I would have went. And John
Right
knows
back
Imagine,
to
too.
the
imagine that
oh,
line
I
going.
would have went right to Rivers.
Yeah,
taking all that money I was gonna spend on
I brought
cards
$5
and
grand and I
gambled
put
it.
it all on black.
hell yeah.
Correct. I've been like, I'm
Yeah,
not standing in that line.
yeah,
I'm going to play roulette.
yeah.
Oh, I
So
kind of wish I
John,
did that.
give us your thoughts on the hobby. Was it busy when you showed up? How was the layout?
Yeah.
What
Okay.
what did you like? What did you dislike?
So the glaring dislike is definitely, I guess the right word to use is the layout of Rosemont. That one, in combination with the extreme busyness and just so many people, it just makes things way too difficult to kind of do what you got to do in a short period of time. So that's my biggest dislike is how busy it was, how tough it is to find booths, how tough it is to find what you're looking for, even find people that you're looking for. That was kind of a big pain in the butt, but those are my biggest negatives. I saw the stuff online too, and I obviously witnessed it in person. Everyone was complaining about the same stuff, that it was super crowded. They did separate the show into the upstairs and the downstairs finally.
I heard the
So
upstairs was worse.
yeah, upstairs was actually worse, which is really sucked. In terms of the booths, like, so when you went upstairs and you walked in, straight ahead was like the place to buy tickets if you hadn't already purchased your tickets online. And then to the left, there was the vendors area. But to the right, it was just like a huge empty space. I didn't really go back and look to see if it was kind of filled up with something else. Maybe it was a hangout spot for people to just kind of hang out and do trades. So maybe that's what that was used for, which would be nice. But the vendors area was way too crowded. The rows were essentially like built for only two people to go side by side. You were shoulder to shoulder walking through trying to see a case. It was obviously crowded, so you just had to move on and kind of try not to be an ass and bump into somebody or knock over somebody's eye in case. So upstairs was tough. That's where baseline was. I, honest to God, was just looking for baseline so I could say hi and move on, and that's what we did. Um, so that was that. But kind of sticking to my trying to be at least a little bit positive. I think that if you had more time, if I had more time, I would have had way much more fun. If that makes sense. Like if I had more time to
Yeah,
be at the show,
you were cut short
yeah,
a little bit.
I really, my honest to God goal for the show was when before shit hit the fan, I wanted to go to the show from open to close. And my goal was to make at least an hour of content for Jelly. Like that's all my goal was. But things happened in my everyday life where I was like, okay, I can only go to the show for maybe 2 to 3 hours. So I went there. I met up with Clayton, which is by far like my favorite part about going to any show is just hanging out with friends and meeting people in the hobby that you know and people you don't know. I met up with Clayton to give him some cards for grading. So shout out to Medalist Breaks. He's awesome. I would love to have him back on the podcast. I met up with Hockeytown John, JK. We walked around, looked at cards. I actually sold some cards, which is another thing that I rarely do when I go to shows.
Yeah.
So, and then I left with only buying one card, which
One like what,
honestly,
$45 card?
$55. Yeah,
55.
I spent $55, which,
That's sad.
yeah, man, like hardcore, full transparency. I was prepared to spend like $1,000. I wanted to spend $1,000 before I left. But yeah, man, there's a lot of things that we need to talk about what we think the national can do to be better. But my blanket statement is you need to go for more than a day to experience it fully.
Needed like
And
3.
I will agree with you, Jason, that after I left, because of the crowds and because of the poor layout, I wasn't really upset. Like usually if I leave a show too soon, I get pissed and I'm like, I want to go back tomorrow, but I can't. But I had no desire to go back. So that's my summary of it. I probably hopped around too much, but I'll go to Jason first because I know that he probably looked at a bunch of stuff online. What are your thoughts, Jason? And I think it's coming back to Chicago next year.
That's 2.
Yeah. Are you interested in going to that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We still have to understand this is the Super Bowl of sports card shows. Like it's sports cards, memorabilia. This is the biggest show in the world for the hobby. It's bigger than Fanatics Fest. There's a reason why there are so many people coming to the show, and that's great. You need that. It shows that this hobby's thriving. Like there's so many people that are keeping this hobby alive. But at the same time, you keep growing the hobby or you keep growing the national, making it bigger and bigger and bigger because you're realizing how big this hobby is getting. But when you do that, you're still using these smaller conventions. Probably where big conventions, maybe, I don't know, 5, 10 years ago, there Rosemont was probably great for the national. When we went there in what, 2021? Perfect
Yeah, it
place to
was
have the
great.
national,
Yeah.
right? Not anymore.
True.
You cannot make these big breaker pavilions now and have all these corporate areas and do all these things and then keep it in the same spot and expect people to be able to navigate it comfortably, be able to look at vendor, tables, not have to be shoulder to shoulder or waiting your turn to try to look at a tape. Like that completely takes away the fun from the national. And so, like, 2028, they're going to Detroit. Hopefully, the Huntington Plaza is going to be this big, huge convention center. I mean, I think they're even saying by the end of 20 this year, in September, they're expanding that convention center. So by the time they get to 2028, it's going to be even bigger. Hopefully, the layout's better. Like Cleveland, I loved that layout. That was the perfect layout. It was the perfect place. It was wide open. It was just too small. It was too small of a convention center. But the actual layout, like the way Rosemont is, it's all like little time. It's all little rooms. They're not little, but they're little rooms in a that make up a large square footage. And then you're cramming so much into it. Like, listen, like I said, like we started the podcast episode, we have a lot of friends who are breakers, and breakers have become such a main part of this hobby and this main part, in the industry.
Totally.
Get the breakers pavilion out of there. It needs to go. Like
Or
you can't even
relocated. Maybe
it,
just it
get
needs to be relocated.
don't have it during the actual show. Make a like you have a trade night, make a breakers night. Have it be in a separate area to where people can come after hours and then they can have the full breakers experience. But don't have it in the show. You don't need this large jumbotron. You can't even buy cards in the breakers. They could even sell cards in the breakers pavilion. I believe is what Ryan from Card Collector 2. I think that's what he said in one of his videos, that I can't sell cards at this. You have to go to my actual like booth. You have to go to my table. Who's standing there just watching people rip cards for other people while you're at the national?
Exactly.
So
Nobody.
I mean, Eric, I know you agree.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what they do because I just know just amount about the cost of the business to do things in the city, like I don't know where they go. Like if they go to McCormick, which is
It might almost be too big.
literally double the size, like they would have to put everybody in the same room just to fill it. The cost would be insane. Ticket prices would be crazy to cover that cost because
Parking would suck, all that.
parking would be terrible.
The
most
city would want some cut from it.
Well, that's like that's all baked in. It's just like to just do anything in the city proper is going to cost
way much
3x. Like if like it might not even be like ticket prices could be 3x.
Yep.
And then you got to go into the city, which is going to cost you more money. Every single time there's a show at McCormick Place that I want to go to, it's hot as fucking balls. So that sucks, especially in the summer. It's just so freaking hot. But it is like they're set up to where they could have breakers show.
Yeah.
Like, and it would be completely separate from each other, and everybody would have like full elbow room. But because of that, ticket prices would be 3x because they're like, okay, we'll give you the whole space, but it's going to cost X amount. Tables are going to cost so much more than what people are even paying for now. And then you're going to be like, oh, you also want a separate thing. And then it's just, I don't know what they do. I think probably what you said is the best thing is having a separate night for it. Breakers.
Yeah. Just imagine if it was at the McCormick Place and you got the Wintrust Arena right there. You want to do a Breakers night with a huge jumbotron? Do the Breakers night in Wintrust Arena and
that
put all the screens on the jumbotron. And then people can sit in the stands.
They would have to charge for that.
Sure. And you know what? People would pay for it. People would pay to actually go and do it because it is a big thing. People like to watch it, but you can't have it going at the same time because you are wasting so much space just having people rip cards. Like they're doing live and I get it. Whatnot's a major sponsor for the National. Mm-hmm. You know, Whatnot has now become one of the biggest sponsorships that the hobby has, you know, other than eBay. So I understand why you do it. And I understand you're catering to the fact that breakers are a big part of this hobby, but you have to remember what everybody's going there for. Everybody is going there to buy cards. Not even just, again, too, if you also have a seller's night, though, too. You want to eliminate the breakers pavilion and change that to the buyer's room, like to the selling room, where vendors can have extra tables set up over there like Cards HQ does, or Ryan, you know, from Card Collector 2, they have booths where you can sell your cards to them, have a whole separate room where if you want to try to sell your cards to a vendor, go in that room. And then leave all the actual vendors on the main floor for the people who want to look at your cards and buy your cards. Because I also can't imagine look at all these people that are doing like $10,000, $20,000 deals now. That doesn't take just like 2 minutes to come up with the deal. Like if you're doing a $20,000 deal, now that's like at least a 15-minute conversation. Now you're trying to do half cash, half trade value. Yeah. Okay, well, let me see what you got here. Well, what about this one? Okay, well, what do you got? Now you just took up like 20 minutes, like trying to just do this one deal. And guess what? I've left your table already. I wanted to look at it and I couldn't because this clunky Zion case was sitting over your display cases, and I walked away.
Yeah, John.
You know? Okay. John was just pulling his slabs out of his pockets.
Yeah. I try my best to make sure I don't put anything on any showcases. I barely even touch them. So, but okay.
Yes, please. Your opinion.
We talked a lot.
Yeah, because you went.
I agree with a lot of the things that we've talked about. I agree that the Breakers Pavilion, no offense to the Breaker friends that we have, doesn't need to be there. I think the solution to that, if you want to continue having breakers at the National, which I don't agree with to begin with, is to put them in the separate room slash night so that I guess they can promote their brand and promote breaks and all that stuff and people can go watch.
Yeah, you can
But
buy into breaks and do it live right there at
I'm
night.
I'm almost at the point now that not just the Breakers Pavilion, but like PSA, Beckett, SGC, Tops, Panini, like even I don't want to loop in Cards HQ or Card Collector 2 because they actually do like they kind of go there as straight up vendors, but like all the other promotional stuff in the hobby, I honestly don't feel like I really want it there. So
Like the corporate stuff?
yeah, I really don't care for that at all. Like including, okay, now I'm gonna kind of, maybe I'll get us in a little bit of trouble here, including the national packs. So for people who don't know, if you go to the Tops booth, you can buy a hobby box. They rip open the hobby box. They like take off the cellophane, if that's the right word, the wrap around it. They rip that off to make sure it's open, and then they give you a national pack. And then 99 times out of 100, the people that get those national packs sell them in breaks or they sell them online. And that's starting to piss me off because the cards that come in those national packs are relevant for like 3 days.
They're relevant for the show.
Yeah, and that's it. So people are spending hundreds of dollars on these national packs to rip them and like buy spots in a break to get, let's say, like a Caitlin Clark National Sports Card Convention out of 25, and then they can probably sell it right away. But if you hold on to it, nobody's going to be looking for that card in like a year, maybe 2 years. So
I would say like a month.
yeah, man. So I'm like getting sick of that too.
Maybe not even.
And the reason that I'm getting pissed off about it is not because of the people who sell them in like the breaks, but because the cost of the hobby box you need to buy to
Went
get
up.
one national pack, yeah, it's like, I don't know, $250, $300.
It was that video I sent, Hoosier Pulls, which shout out. Thank you for following us back. Um, he said, was it last year? I think you could buy a Topps Heritage box for like $80, a hobby box, and take it over to them and then get his national pack. He said that I think the minimum was like 175. I think the minimum box that qualified for it was a hobby box of Top Series 1, which was like 175. And he was
Man,
like, yeah,
that's
I'm not
bullshit.
doing this.
Yeah, I don't need that at all. Like
$55 for a fucking pack?
yeah, man, it sucks. So I
What
don't
is
need any
going
of
on?
that. I don't even like Topps can have just one small booth if we really want. But I guess yeah, I don't want that. I don't want them there. I don't want PSA there. I don't want Beckett there. I don't want SGC there. I don't want anybody there unless it's straight up vendors and just people in the hobby willing and dealing. That's all I want. I don't.
Well,
I
it's
have no
think
idea how they do that.
no, they don't. They don't do that.
I don't know
This
how
is
you
who's
do that.
funding they are what's funding your
Oh,
national.
but like, how much do you
They
think it
are.
costs? No, how much do you think it costs to get a table? I think the
Yeah, but
PSA
like
and all the
Yeah,
other
but
stuff.
you're
and all
talking
those,
like
sponsors and
yeah,
stuff is like
they're giving the national like a
Yeah.
ton of like
That's
a
what I
ton
asked
of
is
money.
like, who is the body that puts on the national? Or is it just like a collective
I think it's a
fund
collective group of
from
people.
Topps and Panini and
Mhm.
like Cards HQ and all the big vendors and all the that's exactly why they have the biggest footprint there is because they're probably
If you gotta
funding the whole
fund all
thing.
this athletes who come for the autos and stuff, like
Yeah.
there's a
Yes.
lot. Like
The
That's true.
setup, all that,
Yeah,
the labor
mean-
costs for all of the people who are working there during the
Yeah.
thing. It's like
Rosemont ain't cheap, man.
in
I
Chicago's
guess.
Illinois
even more
ain't cheap,
expensive.
yeah.
Chicago's even more expensive. That's
And
what I
here-
mean.
and
It's
get-
just like
Well, then-
I
Yeah.
know the union cost in Chicago is
Yeah.
crazy.
I want to know
So
how
like
much they
they
make then.
can't move to McCormick because
They're banking on the
There's no
national,
way.
man. They're making so much money, and that's
That's
why
what I
they
mean.
can do what they're doing because everybody's riding this adrenaline high. Get this. We saw, wasn't it Clayton was the one that told you, right? He stood in line for PSA and it took
Yeah.
him an hour and a half.
2
Okay,
hours.
so 2 hours. So get this. So you're already standing in that long line that we kept seeing just to get into it. I'll bet you that was probably what, 30-minute, maybe to an hour line just outside. Then you're coming in at, okay, I want to submit cards to PSA. 3 hours it's going to take you, and you haven't even looked at anything. You haven't looked at a single table. You haven't bought anything. 2 hours you stood in line, and PSA put out the numbers. PSA graded over 10,000 cards/tickets at this national, and that was up 30% from 2024. Ryan Hogue, president of PSA, said they took in 60,000 items to be graded once they get back to their locations. And then he said that was 70% higher than Cleveland. And then they also took in 9,000 items, which are autographed, to be authenticated/DNA graded by them.
So, okay.
So what are you guys doing? You're just going to the National to drop cards off at PSA? Like, that's what you want to do? You're just,
This is my point. Like, if you said that they graded
you're not even
10,000
there to,
cards.
yeah, 10,000 card. Like, I'm assuming that was the people who paid to have them graded at the show, returned that day, or at some point at the show.
So okay.
So you're not even going to the show to ask what the purpose of the show is for.
If they graded 10,000 cards, let's pretend that everybody did end of show service. It cost $150 to grade one card at the show, to get it at the end of the show. So if they graded 10,000 cards, PSA made $1.5 million. Now, I know for a fact that at least one person had submitted that card end of show and got upcharged to the on-site walkthrough price of $600. So they got charged $600 to get their...
Wait, this is a legit.
Yeah. So they
This
submitted a
happened to
card.
somebody.
Yeah, they submitted a card for grading. They wanted it to end of show for $149. The maximum insurance price, which is bullshit, is $2,500. They graded it. They upcharged the person to the on-site walkthrough $599. Maximum insured price $10,000. So let's pretend that they did that for half of the 10,000 people.
Half is generous. 10% is still like, oh shit.
Yeah, man. Like, that's my point. You guys are like, oh no, they need these sponsors and stuff. If PSA is making, let's say $3 million in the matter of 4 days, like, what? How? I need to know the numbers. I need to know how much money the people who run the national. I don't know who runs the national. I need to know how much they make, and I need to know how much is contributed from each company that's there, because I'm sick of it, man.
The two guys that run the show, or the organizers, they were on the news, like the Chicago news, but dude, they are making bank. They're making so much money off this national. If people are turning around and buying hobby boxes just to get a national pack that's not going to care come Tuesday.
Yeah, but all that, but like the fees
Sounds
are
like we
already
hate the
paid.
national.
Yeah, but the fees are already paid for all those. Like, PSA has already paid their dues to whoever the national is. So like a lot
Pure
of that,
profit.
whatever. Yes.
And
Yes.
so many of them are
Yes.
so many people are grandfathered in and stuff.
That's why it's like they're gonna have to, if they move to Chicago, they're gonna have to charge everybody who wants to, exhibit there double and a half what they currently pay, just to cover all the fees of Chicago, just so they don't lose their ass on it. And then you think the PSA prices are high now? They're gonna up it another 30% because they had to pay another. They had to pay more to go to Chicago. So there's no real fix.
Well,
Unless they move it to a
they're going to be in
cheaper
Rosemont
location.
They're going to be in Rosemont the next 2 years. So 2026, 2027, they're at the Rosemont location. That's not changing. I'm interested to see how Detroit's going to be, because quite frankly, again, Cleveland was small. I think Cleveland's national was way better than Chicago's.
I agree that the layout was a lot better. I enjoyed the layout in Cleveland way more
Because
than
it's
the Rose
open.
Bowl.
I didn't feel cramped. Like, it wasn't cramped. You don't have all
Lost.
these just random ass pillars everywhere.
Escalators, ramps, all
Yeah,
that
just
shit.
all these twists and turns, and I'm in one room, and now I'm turning around. How did I end up in this room? Like, I can't even find the exit.
That's
Like,
that's my point. Like if you're another really great thing about the National, that if you're there as a seller, it's got to be like the best freaking
well, it's got you're just
card
riding
sales
the
you've had
high.
of your
Oh,
life.
I know.
Everybody's like just rushing / crowding over your showcase because they have nowhere else to
It's
go,
got to be.
and they're just like,
Like you said too. You're you're never going to see this many cards and memorabilia
"That's my
in one
point."
place unless you're at the National. And it would be a dream of ours to be able to table at the National every single year. That would be, I mean, that has to be a lot of hobbyist goals, is to, like wrestlers say, hey, I want to headline WrestleMania. Like, I want to headline WrestleMania, right? I want a table at the National. Like, that's what you want
Yeah,
as a hobbyist. And
and that's
I couldn't imagine what it's like on the other side of the table, because on the buyer side sucks.
yeah,
It
yeah.
fucking blows.
But it's no, it's good too, because like nowhere else am I gonna see like a PSA 8 Nolan Ryan rookie. Like if I go to some local show, I'm not gonna see that. If I go to some local show, I'm not gonna see a PSA 10 86 Fleer Jordan.
But
But
it
if you
sounds
want to
like
see it,
it's like becoming more difficult to see it at the National because you can't see anything at the
yeah,
National.
Well, and
You know?
that's
that's
the
what I'm
point.
saying. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
point. Like, you're taking away from what the National is meant to be. And what it's meant to be is for us to go there, to look at cards, to buy cards. It's not to watch breakers in a pavilion on a jumbotron doing all these massive breaks. Whoa, oh my God. Like, I don't care about that. Like, when I'm at the National, I don't care about that. I agree with you, John. I don't care about the corporate stuff. We don't look at the corporate stuff. I want to snake up and down the aisles. I want to hit every single table that's in there. And I want to look at cards, and I want to see cards that I probably will never see in my life after this.
Yeah,
You know
man.
what I'm saying? Like, and I want to be able, and you're going to find, it doesn't matter. You can name a card, it's there.
Yeah, that's
Somebody has it.
and
Yeah.
I think if we get rid of a lot of the
The extra.
extras, yeah, thank you. I was gonna use the word junk, but extra is better. If we get rid of all the extras and you start bringing in more vendors to wheel and deal, it's just gonna grow the hobby in a good direction. I
More
feel like,
healthy way.
yeah,
Especially that wait list is huge.
including kids. Like the kids can come and start wheeling and dealing with more people. Like yeah, man. That's my biggest
Are the
takeaway from it.
breakers not selling like
They
things they
sell
pull
on
like
whatnot.
lot?
Like you have to
It
go
was
into
all
the
just like
app.
whatnot stuff. Yeah, it was all them
Oh,
just
so
online.
I'm
They weren't
okay.
even
So I'm
selling at
sure
the show.
there's people there who are winning the bid on whatnot, so they can. So I
And
guess
then
there's.
watching it
I
live.
guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's.
So do it on a separate night. People are
Yeah,
gonna
that's
go.
fair. Yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Trade night has become one of the biggest things that they do for the National now. Like, it's almost just as big as actually going to the show is going to trade night.
And that's a testament to what we're saying here. Like people want to wheel and deal. They want to go buy cards, sell cards, trade cards with other people in the hobby. And I feel like the amount of people that want to do that is growing way faster than the people who run the National realize. But to your guys' point, like if PSA is gonna be like, yo, I'll give me 500 square feet, we'll give you 50K. They're not gonna say no. I'm gonna give that to a table vendor for $1,000 instead.
Hey
Yeah.
man, I wouldn't even care if they just gave us a snack table.
You guys could be. Here's this janitor's closet.
Like just give us hey, how much does it cost for the snack table? The TV dinner table. Like, I'll just pull that thing out and just set a box right there and look at our cards.
People do that, man. Like that's the best thing about it too. Like coming down the escalator, you saw people on the side of the escalators wheeling, dealing. People are sitting
Wheeling,
outside
everyone's
Starbucks.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. Maybe I was gonna say, like, maybe
Slabs.
we should just set up like right outside the doors.
like
Hey,
Willie Mays
you
Hayes
might.
at the training camp. Just just start sprinting through the aisles.
Hey, that's not a bad
Spring
idea,
training.
man. Or
That's
just
not.
go. You know what? If you can't go to the show, just go to trade night. John, you should have tried. Have you ever gone to a trade night?
Nope. No.
Maybe we should try going to a trade night next year.
The issue with trade night.
You think anybody wants a Rex Grossman card?
Yeah. So the issue
You're not
with
gonna sell that.
bingo.
Or
Exactly, Eric.
this
Yeah.
really cool Eric Burns rookie?
That's my point. If I go to trade night, I'm not trading. I want all my cards. I'm keeping all my cards. I don't want to trade with anybody. I'll
You
buy your
give me
No,
cards.
just give me
yours.
your card.
Yeah, and I give you nothing.
I'll buy the cards. I'll pay for them, but I don't want to give up my cards.
That's
'Cause
not
my
what trade
collection.
night's for.
Yeah, whatever. Trade your card for cash. Whatever. But yeah, that's the point, man. Like trade nights are always bumping. They're growing every year. They got to get bigger rooms every year because people want to go to trade night and they want to buy, sell, and trade cards.
There's so many hotels around Rosemont that they could just rent out one of those rooms too and do like a
Sometimes they get kicked
even
out though.
but even like if you're running, you could even run it parallel to the show. Like
I think that's what they do.
Breakers-
Yeah.
Breakers Pavilion, go over to the Doubletree or whatever over there, and it's in the
Take them to Allstate.
whatever.
Take them
Put 'em
all
in the Allstate Arena.
There you go. Down the street.
You know?
That's really not that far, to be honest.
I know it's not. That's what I'm saying. But
Well, you can't
we
make
can,
people go that far.
Take them to
no.
Rivers, man. Just cut the middleman out. Everybody just go
That's
to
right.
Rivers.
Yeah,
Let's be real.
And then when you hit big, you just hang out you go right to the nightclub there and you just party
Yeah.
and blow all the money.
No, you start putting slabs on blackjack deals and the roulette table.
Yeah, that's 10K.
Hey,
Put 'em
last
out
time I did
on
well at a
craps.
casino, I bought the Ernie Banks card. So, like, I'm ready to do well at a casino.
My man.
That's what we
Well,
got to do,
let's,
actually.
Let's rock and
yeah.
roll here.
Next year, we go in the casino first, and then it
Yeah.
dictates how we do at the show.
Exactly.
How was the show, guys? You never made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
didn't
actually
make
just
it
went
in.
home.
Yeah.
But let me ask you guys this, and we can end on this one. One, is Jelly going to Detroit in 2028 to go to the National?
I've
That
never
would
been
be
to
pretty
Detroit,
cool.
so that'd be cool.
Yep. I've been to Michigan, but not Detroit.
Yeah.
So I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
It's actually it's in the downtown area. Like it's actually in downtown Detroit, which is pretty cool. How do you guys think it's well, first off, what do you think about Detroit getting the National? Beat
Love
out Atlanta. You know, sorry, Jeff. Yeah, what is there going to be a Jelly card sighting in Detroit in 2028?
Okay, first of all, yeah, I vote yes. Second of all, Jason, is there going to be a jelly card sighting in Chicago next year or Chicago the year after that?
Well, yeah, I would hope so. I would hope one of us can make it to the damn National
No,
in
I
our
want
home
all
city.
of us to go.
Well,
want
yeah,
all of
that
us
would be cool
together.
too. But are we gonna like we did Cleveland? But hopefully Luke and Eric, that's what I'm saying.
I see
We
what you're saying
Airbnb it. We go to Detroit. We take a weekend.
That'd be fun.
Boys trip.
Yeah, I would do that.
I would really love that.
Yeah, I mean 2028. That's not even
Yeah.
a real date right now.
And we
so
just
yeah,
don't invite. We just don't invite JK this time. You know.
Or Luke. Luke's not invited either.
No, Luke's invited.
Yeah, Luke's definitely invited. We can invite JK too. He's from Detroit.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Hey,
Boy.
whoa.
That's his new partner, man. That's his new business partner, man.
Yeah, right. JK Cards, got it.
Yeah,
All right.
JK Cards. But well, yeah, real quick thoughts on it being in Detroit. How do you think it's gonna be?
I love it. I'm fully support anybody else getting it besides Chicago because I want to see it better, bigger every single year. So I'm curious to see how Detroit does. And I'd love to go.
Last time it was in Michigan was 1981. It was the second ever National.
I wish I could have gone to that.
And now it's coming back. Wish you could. When you weren't even born.
That's right. Yeah, I wish I could have
Eric,
gone.
what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on it being in Detroit?
I can tell you from just my own like personal industry, people get sick of it always being in Chicago. So it's really good that they're starting to like venture out to other
Yeah.
cities, because people, like, exactly like what we're saying, like, oh, we never been there, we should just go there for that because we already like this, and then we can do ba ba ba. So, you know, my industry, all the trade shows have been in Chicago the last 4 years, and attendance has been like kind of dwindling. And this year, especially, I heard people saying, like, yeah, this kind of sucks that like we have to go to Chicago every year, because it used to be Chicago, another city, Chicago, another city, Chicago, another city, whatever. And then they signed a lease for like the next 10 years in Chicago. So, and people are just like, not, they're just like,
Yeah.
I come here every year, this is boring, I don't want to do this. Like, if I'm gonna like make a trip of it, I want to go to another city. So I think it's really, really, really good and really healthy that they're venturing out and getting interest to where that they can venture out. So like, I can just, if they can continue that, that is really, really, that's a really good sign for health of the market. Like, if they can do really well in Detroit after doing really well in Chicago, then they're gonna probably be like, damn, we can. That's why I keep asking, like, who is putting on the national, because
Well, I know that the dealers are the one, or like the vendors, they're the ones that vote on the locations.
they're bidding this out to cities who are saying, like, yeah, we're gonna give X amount of money if you come here. Who is
Well,
giving?
they have a list of like locations, and then they make all the vendors have to vote on
Okay.
what, you know, they always have, I think it's always like 3 years out
This
or
feels
something. They
like
vote for
there's
the
like
next
some
location.
sort of, there's got to
It
be
came
some
down
sort of
to
transition
Detroit.
of money.
Yeah, it came down to Detroit. It came down to Atlanta. They obviously voted for Detroit, but Vegas, we'll end on that. Vegas, I guess, they're making
I
a
think they're
big
gonna
push
let
to
that. I think
wanting
they're
it
gonna
to
let
go
this
West
cook.
Coast.
I think they need to let it cook another 2 years. Let Tom Brady become a bigger part of the hobby, and then because he's part owner of the Raiders who are in Vegas, they could make
Oh, there
it's
you
like,
go.
Baller.
Very, very smart.
yeah.
Very,
They gotta
very smart.
probably let this cook another 1 to 2 years. Like, we'll see how it like, they need to see how this travels to Detroit, probably, which is not a very far place from Chicago. So it's probably that's probably why it won, because they're like, everybody's coming to Chicago. They can take the, it's really not that much further on aggregate to Detroit. If that has a really good turnout, I would imagine that Chicago gets it again for the next year or two. And then there's like
Yes.
a big Vegas, like, blowout, like huge, like over the top Vegas, huge blowout fest thing that they do. Maybe it's 5 days, and it's at like some, it's at the Caesar's Palace or whatever. Vegas needs it because Vegas is
They
dying.
do.
So
Yeah.
like, Vegas needs foot traffic big time.
I think that's a
Jason,
great spot to end, man.
do you have
Yeah,
any
I think.
thoughts?
Well, yeah, I think it's great. I honestly I agree with Eric. I actually really like the fact that it's not back in Chicago again. I really didn't like the fact. I mean, hey, represent Chicago. You know, it's our, that's our home city. Like, it's awesome to have it there. It's awesome to host it. But I like a little variety. I don't like just, I would hate it if it was just in Cleveland every single year. I would hate it if it was just in Vegas every single year.
Yeah, because people want to make it a
variety.
thing.
Because yeah, like how we took the trip out to Cleveland. That was so much fun. I want to do that all the time.
Me too,
Yeah,
man.
All the time.
people are gonna take their,
So
if you get
I
one
can't
or
wait to
two
go to Detroit
vacations a
in
year.
2028. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I can't wait to go to Detroit in 2028. I think it's gonna be great. And yeah, I think it's, the national, like, clearly you guys are doing, clearly we don't know what we're talking about, because people showing up, and they're showing up in numbers, and there are, no attendance numbers were given out yet, but obviously everybody's assuming it's going to break last year's. So, but we can end on that one. I think that was a really great episode.
Yeah, I'm
I
curious.
love being able to talk about the national. I think it's, it's a lot of fun. It's the best time of the year to be a card collector, a memorabilia collector. So, John, I know we talked a lot. You don't have to kind of recap the entire thing. But just give us your final thoughts, man, and
I will
take us
recap.
away.
Quick
You don't have
recap.
to. You don't have to recap everything, but
Jason,
you can
John,
just
bully.
give us the elevator pitch, man.
Bully, Jason. That's
Thank
a
you, Eric.
bully comment. That's
Why is that
not
a bully
nice.
comment?
That's not nice to say.
Well, I just meant we talked for a long. I don't want him to have to like go through this whole spiel. You know?
Look at him. He's so
I don't know how
sad.
how is that a bully comment? Like that, I don't understand how that's a bully comment.
Anyway, thank you, everybody.
He-
Thank you,
Oh,
Jason.
He likes his
God.
outro, man. Just let him have his outro.
He always goes, oh man, I don't even remember what we talked about.
That's true,
That's what I'm
actually.
saying.
I do
That's what I'm
forget.
saying. You don't have to give us the book. Just say like, hey, thanks for listening. God
right.
damn.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We did talk about a lot. My two things that I'll mention, the card cleaning. I would really love to hear everyone's thoughts on that. I'm in the realm / I'm in the corner of people who are pro cleaning cards. Like, as long as you're doing natural stuff and restoring them, not altering them like we talked about, don't cut off corners or cut off edges and make them sharper. As long as you're not actually altering the card and you're just kind of making it look better for submission, I'm all for that. I feel like the card companies have gotten way out of control. They don't give a crap about consumers. And if I'm trying to get cards and collect them and kind of protect my assets, I want them in the best condition. And if I have to take matters into my own hands, by all means, go for it. But if you disagree, please, we love having those conversations. Reach out to us on Instagram, X, YouTube, whatever you want to. It's at Jellycards, JELICARDS. We also talked about the National a lot. I was the only one fortunate / unfortunately able to go. I went on Thursday. It was super busy. I was only there from around 10 a.m. when it opened for general public till 1 o'clock. I'd like to say I spent at least an hour of that kind of just meeting people, saying hi, meeting friends, and I was only able to spend 2 to 3 hours looking at cards. So I loved it. I wish I could have been there longer, but we talked about a lot of, I guess, changes we would like to see. And if you agree with that or disagree with that, if you were there, please, we love having these discussions. That's what we're all about. Reach out to us and let us know. If you enjoy the podcast, please follow the podcast on both Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you really, really enjoy it, please rate the podcast. That would mean a lot to me and it would mean a lot to us. So, yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Eric. I wish Luke was here. I look forward to every year that we get to go to the National. And if we do make the Detroit National a reality with all of us, it'd mean a lot. I'd be super excited about that. And yeah, thank you, everyone. Have an amazing weekend and an amazing week ahead. And as always, keep spreading the love of the hobby from your friends at Jellycards.